She stood at our father's funeral, calling him her best friend like I didn't exist. But I found a letter in his desk that proved she was the reason our mother left. I stood in the back, near the side door, hands shoved deep in my coat pockets, jaw clenched so hard I thought a tooth might crack. He believed in hard work, integrity, family, and he never once made me feel like I had to earn his love. She paused then, just long enough for the silence to turn emotional. He used to tell me I was his legacy, that as long as I was happy he'd done his job as a father. That was the moment something inside me snapped, not loud or dramatic, just a quiet internal break, like a bone that's been hairline fractured for years finally giving out. Because I knew the truth now. And I knew she did too. My name's Daniel. I'm 34. IT support for a regional logistics company. 2-bedroom apartment, mostly work from home. No wife. No kids. No legacy speeches. Just me and a box of my dad's paperwork I took from the hospice the night he passed. Rachel and I hadn't spoken much in the last few years. No big fight, just a long cold drift. She moved to another state, got married, bought a house with a white fence and a husband who posts gym selfies and calls himself an entrepreneur. I stayed local. I was the one who drove Dad to his appointments, who learned which pill organizer went with which day, who got the late-night calls when he forgot how the microwave worked. She made appearances when it mattered. Christmas, birthdays, this funeral. And today, she stood up there, weeping into a silk handkerchief, acting like she was the only one who had ever loved him. I didn't cry. Not when he died. Not at the viewing. Not now. But I did feel something sharp and foreign rising in my chest, not sadness. Not grief. Something else. I guess it started 3 days ago. I was looking through Dad's desk, the old oak one with the sticking drawer that always caught on the right side. I was searching for his life insurance policy. Rachel had already texted asking about the estate. That's what she called it. Not Dad's stuff. Not his will. The estate. I didn't find the policy in that drawer. But I found a letter. It was buried under folders, tax returns, vehicle registration, the usual boring stuff. But tucked behind the back divider was a single yellow envelope. Unsealed. Folded in half. The paper inside was thinner than usual, written on hotel stationery. Not a hotel I recognized. The date in the top corner was faded, but the name at the bottom stopped me cold. M. My mom. Mom left when I was 10. No note. No goodbye. I remember waking up to Rachel screaming and Dad sitting on the edge of the bed holding her wedding ring in his fist. She's gone, he said, like we'd misplaced the car keys. He never explained. I never asked. The unofficial story, told by Dad in sighs and shrugs, was that Mom had a breakdown. Couldn't handle motherhood. Something about anxiety, depression, maybe a midlife crisis. Rachel repeated that story like scripture. But the letter said otherwise. You refused to see it, Robert. You called it ambition. You said she had leadership instincts. No, she has a cruel streak and you nurtured it. I tried to stay. I begged you to see the way she twisted things, made me the villain, made Daniel invisible. But you chose her. You always chose her. I'm leaving because I can't raise a daughter who delights in cruelty and a son who's taught to think love must be earned. I can't watch her become you. M. I read it 5 times, each time slower than the last. My stomach clenched tighter with every word. All these years, I thought I wasn't enough. That Mom left because I was quiet, weird, hard to talk to. But she left for the opposite reason. She left because Rachel made her feel unwelcome in her own home. And Dad let her. And now Rachel was up there, eulogizing him like she was the heart of the family, like she was his only child. My hands were trembling as I folded the letter back up. The paper had a faint musty smell, like something that had been waiting a long, long time to be found. I slipped it into my jacket pocket and left the room before anyone saw me. I didn't trust myself to sit through the rest. After the funeral, people gathered in the church basement for sandwiches and those stale cookies everyone pretends to like. Rachel was in her element, accepting condolences like a widow in mourning, even though she hadn't seen Dad in person in over a year. I stayed near the exit, nodding when people passed, waiting for my moment. I didn't plan to confront her. Not at first. But then she stood in the center of the room, holding a plastic glass of punch like she was giving a TED talk. Dad left everything to me, she announced casually, like it was some footnote in the obituary. I blinked. What? She smiled, thin and rehearsed. It's all in the will. The house, the savings, even the car. It's what he wanted. I'll be going through the documents this week, just tying up loose ends. Loose ends. That's what I was now. Rachel, I said quietly, walking over. Can I talk to you for a second? She looked annoyed, but followed me into the empty hallway by the coat racks. What the hell are you doing? I asked. What? She shrugged. I'm just telling the truth. Dad didn't even like you by the end. You barely called. You never showed up to help. Why would he leave you everything? Her eyes narrowed. Because I asked him to. That was the moment. The crack widened. You asked him? Yeah, she said. You were always the background kid, Daniel. The one who blended in. I talked to Dad. I explained how complicated your life is. How money would only stress you out. My hands balled into fists. You manipulated him. She didn't even flinch. I protected you from responsibility. I should have walked away. I should have stayed calm. But then she said it, the line that split everything in two. Besides, Rachel said, brushing lint off her coat, you were Mom's favorite. I was Dad's. It balances out. I felt the letter in my pocket like it was burning through the fabric. You want to talk about Mom? I said, voice shaking. Please, she rolled her eyes. She left because she couldn't handle life. No, I said. She left because of you. And I can prove it. Her smirk faltered for just a second, then returned. What are you even talking about? I pulled out the letter, folded, aged, shaking slightly in my hand. I found this in Dad's desk. She didn't take it, didn't even look. She just backed away like it was toxic. That's probably fake, she said. You always were good at Photoshop. It's in Mom's handwriting, on hotel paper. It names you, says you twisted her words, turned Dad against her. Says she left because she couldn't raise a daughter who... Shut up, she snapped. You don't know what you're talking about. But her voice cracked, just once. Barely. She turned to walk away. I grabbed her wrist. Not hard, just enough. Everything you stole, the inheritance, the narrative, the truth, I'm taking it back. Oh, please, she said, laughing bitterly. You think one letter changes anything? No, I said. But I'm not the only one who needs to read it. Her face dropped, and that's when I knew. She was scared, because the thing Rachel feared most wasn't exposure. It was losing control of the story, and I was about to rewrite everything. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my kitchen table with the letter laid out in front of me like a crime scene photo. I read it again and again until I could recite every word from memory. I imagined my mom writing it, probably in some cheap hotel just far enough away to finally breathe. I imagined her hands shaking the way mine were now. I stared at my laptop for a long time before I opened it. I didn't post the letter to social media out of spite. I did it because for the first time in my life I had the truth. And the people who knew our family, who always whispered behind cupped hands about why Mom left, why Rachel was the golden child, they deserved to know it too. I scanned the letter. I wrote a short caption. Just the facts. My sister gave the eulogy at our dad's funeral like she was his only child. But this letter, hidden in his desk for 24 years, says she was the reason our mother left. I kept quiet growing up. Not anymore. I hit post. I didn't expect the reaction. Within hours, I had messages, comments, DMs. People from our hometown, old neighbors, classmates, even some distant relatives, reached out. Some were shocked. Others, not so much. Always thought something was off with Rachel. One message read, "She made my daughter cry in high school and told her no one would believe her," said another. Someone sent me a screenshot of Rachel's Instagram. All her photos with Dad were suddenly deleted. Then my phone rang. It was her. I stared at the screen for a full minute before answering. "Are you insane?" she shrieked. "Do you know what you've done?" I stayed calm, colder than I thought I could be. "I told the truth," I said. "You might want to try it." "You just ruined my reputation," she spat. "Do you know how this looks?" "Like justice," I replied. "And don't worry, I'm not done." Click. 2 hours later, I got a call from a blocked number. I almost didn't answer. "Hello." There was a pause, then a voice I hadn't heard in 2 decades. "Daniel?" she said softly. It's your mother." I almost dropped the phone. She'd seen the post. "I didn't know if you'd even want to talk to me," she said. "I followed your name for years. Quietly. I just didn't know how to come back after everything." My chest felt like it was caving in. All the years I told myself she didn't care, that she was weak, that she chose to leave me too, they unraveled with every word she said. "I kept that letter," I whispered. "He hid it. I found it after he died." She started crying. Not the performative sobs I was used to from Rachel. This was different. Ugly. Raw. Real. I wanted to take you with me, she said. But he threatened legal action. Said I was unstable. That no court would side with me. I sat down. Hard. I thought you left because of me, I said, barely able to get the words out. No, she replied instantly. I left to save myself. And I'm sorry I couldn't save you too. We talked for over an hour. About everything. About nothing. She lived in Oregon now. Worked at a bookstore. Had a dog named Junebug. I saw your face in that post and I couldn't stay silent anymore. I hung up feeling like the ground beneath me had shifted. My entire life I'd been taught that silence was survival. That being invisible was safer. But that wasn't true anymore. And then later that night, Rachel made a move I didn't expect. She posted a video of her own. A crying selfie. Full mascara streaks. Sad piano music playing behind her. My brother betrayed me, she said to her 12,000 followers. He twisted things. He doesn't know the full story. He's trying to destroy me when I'm grieving. I just lost my dad. The comments were brutal. Mixed. Half were people calling her brave. The other half? Quoting lines from the letter. Calling her out. Tagging me. But the real storm came the next morning. Because the lawyer handling Dad's estate emailed me. Said Rachel had filed to execute the will without notifying me and that the letter could change everything. The estate lawyer's name was Mr. Delaney. Mid-60s, slow talker, thinning hair like he was always on the edge of revealing something devastating with a kind smile. He'd handled Dad's affairs for years, but until now, I'd never spoken to him directly. I wasn't aware you were a beneficiary, Daniel, he said, voice clipped but careful. Your sister submitted the will for probate. Said you were informed. You weren't. No, I said. I wasn't. Well, he sighed, that changes things. I forwarded him a scan of the letter. He asked to see the original. I dropped it off the next morning. If this letter is authenticated, he said, peering over his glasses, we might be dealing with undue influence. Emotional manipulation. Possibly coercion. My hands were sweating. So, what happens now? We can test the will, he said simply. But I'll be blunt, it's not just about the letter. We'll need character evidence. Witnesses. A pattern. You'll be airing your entire childhood in front of a probate judge. Are you ready for that? I didn't answer right away. Because honestly, I didn't know. It's one thing to share the truth with strangers online. It's another to unpack every crack in your family in a courtroom where Rachel's crocodile tears might carry more weight than a letter written by a woman who fled 2 decades ago. But then I remembered the way Rachel said background kid. The way she announced her inheritance like it was a coronation. The way she erased me again and again until I started believing I was someone worth erasing. I'll do it, I said. The news spread faster than I expected. Rachel found out before the official notice even landed. I assumed someone on her side had connections because not even 24 hours after the court documents were filed, she posted another video. This time in full crisis mode. He's trying to steal from me, she sobbed. My own brother. This is elder abuse by proxy. He manipulated our sick father. I was the caregiver. I was the one making hard choices. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Caregiver? She hadn't even picked up his meds once. The worst part? People believed her. Comments flooded in. Men will do anything for money. Just jealous of the favorite child. He's exploiting a dead man to punish his sister. I started getting hate messages. One of them included our old home address. Another told me to rot with your mother. That one stuck. But just as I was starting to spiral, I got a call that flipped everything. It was from someone I hadn't seen in 15 years. Mr. Chandler, Dad's old neighbor. The one who used to help mow the lawn when Dad threw his back out. I saw the letter, he said. And I need you to know your mom wasn't crazy. She came to our house the night she left. She was shaking like a leaf. My wife gave her tea. My throat went dry. She asked if we'd testify back then, he said. But your dad, he came by the next day. Made it clear we should stay out of it. My mind reeled. I never knew. No one ever said they couldn't. Your dad scared a lot of people. Not with fists, but with reputation. He made sure people remembered his version of the story. But I remember the truth. And if you need us in court, we'll be there. I sat down slowly, clutching the phone like it was the only thing holding me upright. Thank you, I said. I thought I was alone in this. You're not, he said. You never were. Just silenced. 2 days later, I got a message from Rachel's husband. No greeting. No signature. Just this. You need to stop. Before this gets uglier. She's not as stable as she pretends to be. And if this goes to court, you won't just lose family. You'll lose blood. I stared at that message for a long time. Not because I was afraid, but because I finally realized what this had been all along. Not grief. Not inheritance. Not justice. It was a war for who gets to own the truth. The court date was set for 3 weeks out. Mr. Delaney was gathering affidavits. Mom had already flown in from Oregon, staying at a cheap motel near the edge of town. She didn't want to stay with me, said she needed to earn her way back. I respected that. It was strange seeing her again. She looked older, sure, softer around the edges. But the moment we sat across from each other, eating pancakes at that greasy spoon off Elm Street, I saw pieces of myself in her. The eyes, the way she held her mug with both hands like a shield. We talked about nothing, about everything. I asked her once if she regretted leaving. I regret trusting the wrong people, she said quietly. And I regret what it cost you. But I don't regret surviving. That line stuck in my chest like a splinter. 2 days before the hearing, Rachel called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Her voice was low, flat. No tears, no theatrics. Just one sentence. Meet me at Dad's house. Tonight. I don't know what made me say yes. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I needed to see how far she'd fall. The house looked the same except emptier, cold, as if it finally understood it didn't belong to either of us anymore. She stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, eyes red dot. There were no cameras, no Instagram filters, just Rachel. I'm not going to court, she said. I blinked. What? I'm withdrawing my claim, she said. The will, the estate, all of it. The words hit me like a body blow. I didn't speak. I just waited, because something was coming. She walked over to the counter, picked up a folder, slid it across. Inside were printouts, emails, pages from a therapy journal, dated, signed. I saw the letter, she said, and I remembered something I haven't let myself remember since I was 13. She looked me in the eyes. Mom tried to take me with her too. Silence. She came into my room. That night, she told me to pack a bag, said we were going somewhere safe, and I screamed, loud enough for Dad to come running. She sat down. I told him she was trying to kidnap me. I lied. I didn't even know why. I just panicked. I wanted her to stay, but I was scared. And I said the one thing I knew would make him hate her. My chest felt hollow. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. I still remember it. She stopped talking, just shut down. She put her ring on the dresser and walked out the front door. Rachel was crying now, quietly, not for attention. For years I told myself it wasn't my fault, that she was weak, but I remembered I made her leave. I told that lie and watched it burn her alive. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't ready for this, for her to be human. She looked up. You were the good one, Daniel, but I made sure no one saw you. She pushed the folder toward me again. I'm giving up the estate. You can have it, or split it. I don't care. But I need to do one thing before I disappear. Disappear? She nodded. I'm going away. Rehab. Therapy. I don't know. But somewhere no one knows me. Because I don't want to be her anymore. I stared at her, trying to match this broken, haunted woman to the smug, golden girl who once told me I was background noise. And I believed her, because shame is hard to fake, but it's impossible to hide forever. The next day, she sent a signed legal withdrawal of all estate claims. I called Mr. Delaney. He was stunned. So was Mom. She really did that? She whispered. She did. We sat in the courthouse parking lot anyway, just in case Rachel changed her mind. She didn't show. The judge dismissed the petition. The estate defaulted to equal division, 50-50. But that wasn't the part that mattered. The part that mattered came later that week, when Rachel posted one final video. No music, no lighting, just her face. I lied to keep control. I hurt people I loved because I didn't know how to feel small. My brother told the truth, and the only reason I'm not hiding anymore is because he didn't. It didn't go viral. It didn't trend, but it felt like peace. A week after the court hearing, I finally went back to Dad's house. Not for the furniture, not for the estate paperwork, just to breathe. Everything felt different, calmer. The place had always been quiet, but now it was the kind of quiet that doesn't press down on your chest. The kind that lets you exhale. Rachel had already taken her things. She left me the folder with her journal entries and a handwritten note that just said, I'm sorry for taking up all the air in the room. I hope you can finally breathe now. R. I didn't know how to feel. Still don't. But I think that's okay. I walked through each room slowly, touching the backs of chairs, running my fingers along the hallway walls. Ghosts everywhere. Not the spooky kind, the subtle kind. The kind made from silence. Missed apologies. Words never said. Then I opened the garage. I hadn't gone in since the day we brought the hospice bed in through the back. Dad's tools were still lined up in neat rows. Pegboards. Coffee cans full of screws. His whole personality arranged by size and function. I wasn't expecting to find anything, but tucked in an old cigar box under the workbench I found it. Another envelope. This one was addressed to me. No date. No stamp. Just my name. Daniel. My heart stopped. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a single sheet of paper. My dad's handwriting, sharp, blocky, no nonsense. Just like him. If you're reading this, then I probably didn't get the ending I was hoping for. I know I wasn't a good communicator. I thought showing up was enough. But the truth is, I didn't show up for you the way I should have. Your sister was loud, demanding. She made herself known. You? You were quiet, easy to overlook. But not because you were weak. Because you were strong in ways I didn't understand. I used to say you were steady. I hope you know I meant that as the highest compliment. You never needed the spotlight. You just stayed. I found Mom's letter years ago. I never told you. I should have. I didn't destroy it because I knew someday you'd need it. And I hope by then you'd be strong enough to face what it meant. You were. I'm proud of you. I just didn't say it out loud. Take care of yourself, son. You were never invisible. I just didn't know how to look in the right direction. Dad. I read it twice. Then again. My hands went numb. For years, I thought he'd never seen me. That I was just the leftover child. The one people forgot about when the drama took center stage. But he saw me. Maybe too late. Maybe too quietly. But he did. I didn't sell the house. Not right away. Instead, I fixed it up. Painted the kitchen cabinets. Replaced the leaking bathroom faucet. I started going room by room, undoing the clutter of decades, both physical and emotional. Mom helped me for a while. Then she flew back to Oregon. She left me with a hug that didn't feel like an apology. Just a beginning. Rachel and I don't talk much. But she did send me a letter. Handwritten. It said, I don't expect forgiveness. But thank you for not burying me when you had the chance. That's more grace than I ever gave you. I folded it. Put it next to Dad's. 2 letters side by side. A match set. People always say grief is a straight line. Death, tears, healing, peace. That's a lie. Grief is circular. It loops. Some days I wake up and still feel like that background kid waiting for someone to notice. Other days I wake up in my dad's old house, hear birds outside the window, and think, I made it. Not because I won. Not because I proved anything. But because I told the truth. And survived it. Final note. I still work in IT. Still drink too much bad coffee. Still don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. But every now and then someone messages me about the letter. They say it helped them. That it made them feel less alone. And that's worth more than the house or the will or the twisted legacy we both inherited. The truth doesn't always fix things, but sometimes it sets you free.